So I'm Ninja Müller, this is Michal Lovecky, as you already heard, and we are the founders of Cyan Planet. So Cyan Planet is built on the passion for the ocean. We all, I think, that are here know about the beauties and the wonders of the ocean, but we also all know about the problems that our oceans face right now. The knowledge is available. I think everybody already heard about plastic pollution and overfishing. Maybe as a marine biologist, I am a bit more aware of it, but still everybody has the knowledge about these problems. So still little is changing and the state of the oceans gets worse. Why is that? We don't have a lack of knowledge in order to change something, but a lack of empathy for the life in the ocean. And this is not because humans are bad, but because we don't have the connection to the ocean. We don't live there. So how could we possibly build that connection?
Take me, for example. I am XR technologist and entrepreneur from landlocked Czech Republic. How did I become passionate about the ocean? We were freediving in Brazil in Fernando de Noronha National Park at one of the local shipwrecks when we spotted a turtle that was hiding underneath a part of the wreck. And we were able to get very close to it when we suddenly realized that it's not hiding there, but it's stuck. So we gently pushed it out and it immediately swam up to the water surface to breathe. That moment was brief, but it shifted the way we saw the world. Knowing that our actions can have life and death consequences. And that's one of our goals at Cyan Planet, to mediate similar self-transcendent experiences to the audience in order to elicit empathy for the ocean. We are building a global platform that connects people with the ocean through immersive media to take action in support of marine conservation. When we are talking about global platform, we mean mainly production of immersive media, which means virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality. But in terms of, for example, VR games, it's always a purpose-driven VR games. Also, we combine it with creation of XR tools for researchers, educators, to give them the opportunity to utilize the power of virtual reality for their activities, either outreach, education, and also research lately. We are also part of international consortium of leading European universities working on the next generation of marine education, which we are very enthusiastic about. And all this is focused on community support, impact, and action. Because without real-world impact, we can be producing our amazing virtual reality experiences, but we need the outer world to change. So in terms of Cyan Planet's development, Cyan Planet's journey started in January 2019, thanks to our flagship project, How is the Water, that was selected as one of the 12 international projects for Biennale College Cinema VR. Later, we attended Venice Gap Financing Market. And during that year, we first in March realized that it can't be just two of us working on all that. And we established first a small core team with our two developers, and then reached out to our networks and find out that our idea to use virtual reality in support of marine conservation resonated strongly with so many people. And within a year, we grew from 4 to 20 team members working in Cyan Planet. We had first pilot productions for NGOs, for example, in Montenegro or Turkey, and traveled around Europe when it was still possible to international conferences where we showcased our pilot productions and prototypes that we have developed during 2019. This year we were entrusted, and we are still honored to be given the chance by Bavarian Film Commission that supported us by prototype funding for How is the Water. So we are now very intensively working on the prototype for How is the Water. And actually now, next week on Friday, we are having a big pitch session at Cyan Film Festival, because How is the Water was selected for XR Development Showcase in collaboration with Kaleidoscope. We've been supported by several organizations. Maybe some of them you know. Stanford Virtual Human Interaction Lab, WDC, world-leading charity focusing or working on protection of whale and dolphins, Stiftung Planetarium, and so on. So that's us. And this is our team as they joined. Great. And yeah.
So yeah, that was a bit on the technical part. Let's get now to the actual projects that we developed. Now we already talked a lot about How is the Water, so we don't want to keep away from you the trailer or teaser about our locomotion prototype that we already now have. So let's hope it works. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to know anything more about the project, then you can just contact us or visit our website, www.cyanplanet.org. But I also wanted to show you some of the other projects that we are working on. So this is, for example, One Day as a Researcher that Michal already mentioned, as a collaboration with Turkey and Montenegro, with the Marine Mammals Research Association and Montenegro Dolphin Research. And in that experience, it's an interactive 360 experience. You can live the day of a marine mammal scientist that is investigating dolphins off the coast of Montenegro. So you can join the research team, you learn something about the work that they are doing. It's a really very nice project, and yeah, I worked on it too, so it's a lot of fun as well. You can even also learn how to identify dolphins, take pictures of dolphins. So it's a very nice way of getting to know science as it is done in real world, but through a kind of gamified, fun approach, and you still learn something about the project and the dolphins. It's yeah, definitely one of my favorite projects, actually. We also have just 360 videos. For example, the Amigos Hamga Iho. That's a collaboration with the Thresher Shark Research and Conservation Project in Philippines. They have a very special island where they have thresher sharks throughout the year. They are very shy and very rare species of sharks. And one of our team members was actually working in that project, so he decided to also create an experience about that. And he was actually really lucky because he became very close with the shark. So it's also, we have a very nice shot of these species that are usually not seen very often. So that's yes, definitely also something to try. And also we worked in the Seychelles on a coral reef restoration project where they had major bleaching events throughout the last decades, and it killed over 90% of the corals. So now they are trying to restore the resilience or build resilience of the coral reefs against bleaching events. And these are all just small projects. They're working there, and we try to give them the tools for outreach and for informing people about what they are doing, because it's underwater, so it's not easy, obviously, for other people to understand what is going on there. So that's why we chose to work with them. We also have kind of a sneak peek of our newest project, Sponge Space. That's a very different project because it's a virtual space for work sessions, networking events. We created it in collaboration with Anna Pavelkova. She's a wonderful architect, and she designed the Sponge Space, this virtual space. It's actually a marine sponge, that's why it's the funny name, that you can enter. And next to the group working rooms and event rooms, there is also a marine conservation hub where you can actually experience the Seychelles coral reef restoration and the Amigo Samunga Iho, the two projects that I just talked before. So you can enter it for free and try the experiences there, and also, of course, work, meet people, and so on. It's not online yet. It goes online next week, so you're kind of the first ones that now really heard about it. It was awarded by the XR Hub Bavaria and won the Dream Your Virtual Spaces competition. And it's just another immersive way to bring the ocean to the people at home and build a connection with the marine environment. And all these projects obviously also convey the passion that all our team members in Cyan Planet share for the ocean. So that's just very quickly about us. Thank you very much for listening, and I'm very, very curious about the questions that are now coming up to us.
Great, thanks to the two of you. That's really great. And I think kind of like throughout the whole Bartakan festival, it has become very, very clear that VR can make a big impact on people. There's research backing that impact up as well. Especially with embodiment and empathy and these kind of things. It then becoming a tool to, as an educational tool, is very, very kind of encouraging to see that these things are now happening, which kind of leads us to the first question from chat, actually, which is by Steffi. Is it possible to use your videos in an educational context, that is in schools?
Definitely. Oh, sorry, you were still talking. No, definitely it is. I mean, it of course depends on what kind of experiences. Some are only really for headsets, but for example, 360 videos, you can even use like watch on your phone or something. So it's very accessible, and then you can definitely also use it in schools if you have the infrastructure. But I think everybody by now has smartphones. So yes, definitely.
Yeah, that's also good to hear that the accessibility aspect of that is still kind of a work in progress, of course, because headsets and that's also kind of a thing that we heard from a lot of speakers, that the actual access to headsets is quite limited for now, and that we're hoping that kind of increases. Do you have kind of like an opinion with accessibility and headsets, what you would like to see in the future with that kind of stuff?
I think it's getting much better lately, especially now with the second generation of headsets. And well, not to advertise, but I mean, we have headsets now at a price, with a price tag around 150 euros, that are definitely usable for 360 interactive video experiences. And also web-based platforms, for example, that are accessible through desktop. Of course, you want to have the user experience virtual reality within the virtual reality headset. But in terms of accessibility and the broadest possible audience, then even through desktop, you can have a very nice, immersive, interactive 360 experience running on your laptop or computer in the school. And that's what schools are already equipped with. So it's not a question of another investment into the equipment.
Yes. And I would actually like to get a step back again to Steffi's question, because yeah, it was more about accessibility. We also already did workshops in universities and schools, and we're supposed to do more, but then Corona happened. So we do that in case the technology is not available there. So we also come there to show them our experiences.
That's really great, because I think that really, like from my and Debbie's experience, that also is very necessary to actually kind of try to get institutions to see the value of this. I mean, kind of in a strange way, coronavirus has helped kind of VR developers in that way, which is of course a quite tragic thing to say, but unfortunately it's the truth. But we also had like Barry, who is from Codebase in Scotland, and he said that basically we had in the last kind of couple of months we have kind of like sped up the technological progress and kind of getting immersive media to schools and to in our lives by quite a bit. And I think kind of getting that momentum going and keeping that momentum is very important. Alex, you're burning to ask a question. I can see
exactly, because I have a follow-up question for the question of Steffi. I would also like to know, in the perspective of museums or exhibitions, like what kind of basic technical supply they should have to be able to show your exhibition. So would it be enough to have some Oculus Go, or does every user needs to have one Oculus Go, or like what would be the ideal setup in your perspective?
That depends on the experience. As you said, something like Oculus Go, which the visitor just puts on head and it can immediately start playing. That's quite easy to set up, and also low maintenance, let's say. But for example, for something like How is the Water, when you have people in a headset swimming like a dolphin around, and then in terms of setting it up, I think the most important is to have a personal there, like at least one person that can attend the headsets and people in headsets, because this onboarding and offboarding process before getting in the headset and getting out of the headset is as important as being in the virtual reality experience, because it's really a kind of a travel to a different world. And as in plane, you have stewardess or steward. So that would be because as I said, now headsets, even the threaded ones, for full VR experiences or 6DoF experiences like How is the Water, 400 euros. Of course, it's a cost for the museum, but it's disproportional to a person that needs to attend that exhibition part. Mm-hmm. Or like maintain, or yeah.
Like, how could you make a living out of it? So does it mean that your games, or let's say this How is the Water, is it like downloadable in the App Store, or do you get any kind of license fees, or like what is in for you basically to be able to survive and to create even more games?
Yeah. So with How is the Water, we are now in the development phase. The prototype or the first demo should be ready around October this year. And well, till then, of course, we are looking at from public fundings to private investors to our own financial contribution from other activities. Of course, it's still marine conservation effort or initiative that we are trying to build here. So we don't really right now have a big institutional partner or industry partner that would be financing our activities. It's us and our work and work of our amazing team that is putting a lot of effort for let's say not industry rates, because we all share the passion for the ocean and we want to all see the project alive and out there. So that's what is driving. But yes, of course, I mean that doesn't pay the electricity bill.
Yeah, I would even I would turn that around. Basically, I would kind of say, how can we afford not to do these kind of social impact kind of projects? I mean, we in Kiel, where the Vatican Festival is at, that's on the Baltic Sea, and we just now, because of Corona, we've seen a lot less kind of like travel and traffic on our Firth, on the Kieler Förde, and that now already after a couple of months has turned the water basically kind of like completely crystal blue. It's unbelievably beautiful, and you could see the change in it. So for us living here on the Baltic, of course, we know about just how important that is to our culture, to our daily lives, and the way we kind of perceive ourselves as human beings within nature. But as you said, Michael, earlier, and that kind of goes back to Steffi. Another question from Steffi, by the way. How did you come to the ocean topic? And I really like that little story you told about the turtle. And that's a very kind of personal narrative, but not everybody can have that personal story. And kind of getting these kind of stories to people can actually change quite a bit. So I know you're gonna have to pitch next week in Cannes, right? So hopefully that will work out very, very well. And so in case it does not work out, which of course it will completely work out. It would be great. But in case it does not work out, you are still looking for partners still, right? In order to push kind of that project forward. Is there? How would you get? How can we get in touch with you to throw money at you?
Yeah, the easiest way would be really throwing the money. We just need to meet. But yeah, email us, visit our websites. If it's something specific like how is the water, you can join our pod. It starts easy with your email address, so we can get in contact with you and then let you know how you can help, how you can join us. We are, as you said, still looking for partners. We've been very lucky with the partners so far, and we are building the whole community around how is the water project. And did I miss something from
I don't think so. Yes, I mean the infrastructure is in place right now this way. I mean we don't have a donate button because we are not a charity, we are a company. But there are still, of course, ways to support the project. As Michael said, get in contact with us, and we're very happy about that.
Joining our pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, please do that, everyone. And also, I'm quite interested about, you talked about the kind of infrastructure of community. And you're currently based in Bavaria, right? So that's kind of like almost the polar opposite of Germany, where the Waterkant Festival is at. And earlier we talked about, like before the actual kind of talk, we talked about what kind of places there are within Bavaria in order to support that kind of work. Can you maybe talk about a little bit about that infrastructure that is helping you there to do your work?
Yes, so as we said, one, for example, is the XR Hub Bavaria, where we also got awarded for the sponge space. So they are, as the name says, dedicated to XR in Bavaria. So that's definitely an important point, but also the funding opportunities and the whole film scene is very open to VR. So there was also last year the first Virtual Worlds edition that was connected to the Film Festival Munich. So they had their very own whole VR part.
And the Bavarian Film Commission is doing a great job in funding games, VR, and they just opened actually like third program where for XR experience or XR project. So if it doesn't fall under VR or a game, then you can still apply. So I mean, in terms of funding, and also here with universities, the whole area is full of developers, amazing artists. And it's a great place from the technological perspective and from other perspectives to be launching this our platform, because I mean it's a lot about technology, even though of course we are a lot missing the ocean and morning swim and freediving and all the other perks that comes with that.
There are mountain lakes, but it's not the same.
No, it really isn't. So you should come, definitely.
I know.
Waterkant. You should definitely. No, it's like yesterday when we talked to Chris, and I think it's kind of like another through line that we had during all of our kind of state of reality talks is the scene is still quite small, and there's like everybody is talking to each other. We're not kind of trying to take away from each other, but more like kind of like signal boosting kind of projects that we think are cool. Because yeah, for example, we also applied, me and Debbie, to the one thing that you actually got and we didn't get, but that's perfectly fine. That's how we got to know you, and that's why we kind of wanted to showcase your stuff as well, because we want to see more. You know, it's not just about the vision of one person. It's kind of like the vision of people, and getting together and doing that. So there's another question from chat by Jan Müller, who's asking, what is your opinion? Could project like yours replace underwater tourism that harms the environment?
I do hope so. I mean, I think it is, of course, it is about the accessibility, as we already said, but it is really immersive. We also, it was actually very cute if we now talk about underwater tourism as really entertainment. Whenever we have people only going for entertainment purposes through our experiences, they have so much fun, especially also children. They have so much fun. They are immediately there and they believe that they are there. You know, we had them in the Seychelles coral reef restoration, which is full of fish. It's beautiful. And they try to run around and chase the fish, you know, immediately after we put the headsets on. So I do think it can replace it. The technology is still in development, but it's also, for example, now already possible to wear headsets underwater. So that, of course, adds a lot to it, that you really are underwater when you're seeing underwater. So I do believe it is possible.
That sounds. I not heard of the headset you can actually wear underwater. That's incredible. I'm gonna Google that now. Hopefully we can buy that. Alex, that's kind of like your cue as the Vatakan Fest. You need to buy that, and next year we're gonna have underwater VR experiences, right?
Sure. I think this would be like perfect out of, let's say, two circumstances. One is that I think also hard to say, but thanks to global warming, like for the last 4 years, we had also like a pair of dolphins in our Baltic Sea here. They're called Selfie and Delphi. And they're quite rare to see, but sometimes they're visible. So it would be definitely cool to kind of, go into the perspective of Selfie and Delphi, and to have your house water project running here, and like to be serious again, like Debbie and Dennis are curating not just the topics for this sessions in this track, but also an exhibition that will open up at the beginning of July. And this way, it would also be super cool if there's a way already now, also with the equipment that we have, to show, like, even if it's just the prototype, but this is always the best medium to tell people who would like to support you to really give them this immersive experience right away. For instance, we just had like a couple of days ago, Simone Menne here, because she moved back to Kiel, and she's was one of the first Vorstand, Aufsichtsrat, I don't know, like on the top level of BMW and Lufthansa and so on. And she was completely in love also with the work of Debbie and Dennis VR-wise, because for so many people it's such a really plain field to work with and to apply these technologies into their business life. So yeah, it would be super nice to feature you here as well, if possible.
Thank you. We actually have a travel around later this month or at the beginning of July, so we could bring How is the Water and think of a way how to get it to Waterkant.
Yeah, super nice. And so maybe just a nerd question that comes with it. I was just wondering, is it based, the name for How is the Water, on this commencement speech of David Foster Wallace?
It is not based on it, but we then discovered that it relates very well to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it was actually a coincidence. Yes.
Ah, nice. So yeah, maybe could you just sum it up briefly? So what is the essence of this commencement speech out of your perspective, like just for the viewers who are not knowing it?
You want?
You want?
I want? Okay. Well, for us, or at least from my perspective, it's about the core thing that we are trying to do in How is the Water, and that's bringing the ocean, immersing person in there, and actually making him realize on a very deep level that it's not granted, it's not, how to say it, yeah, that it's not granted, that it's something that we even maybe right now here in Munich, for us, it's still our actions, our decisions here have effects there on the water, and to our livelihood and livelihood of the whole planet.
That's a great answer.
I have answered somehow.
It's a great answer to a very difficult question, Alex.
I'm sorry.
Alex coming with those kind of like cutting questions of like, can you back up your references, by the way? No. Jesus. Yeah, no, I think
that was not scripted.
that wasn't a pre-approved question, Alex.
Yeah.
But it's also still fun. It sounded very heavy, but as you saw in the video, it's also really fun to swim around as a dolphin. For the ones that don't feel like confronting themselves with the very heavy stuff of nowadays, you can still enjoy it.
No, I think that's very important actually, because we had Owen Harris and Joanneke Wertmeister, I kind of messed her name up now. I'll have to look it up again. And they were very much about playfulness as well. So their topics were very heavy. It was about mental health in VR and using biofeedback as well for breathing exercises in VR. So you would control the game through breathing, actually, in order for people to kind of get out of like anxiety loops and things like that. But for both of them, it was kind of like very much the playfulness that was also kind of such an important aspect of it. So a lot of the times, I think a lot of the times the gamification of it, or kind of like the gaming aspect, especially in Germany, are kind of taken out of the context of like, oh, it's just a game. No, it's not just a game. It's about being playful and kind of interacting in a playful way, even with the heaviest of topics, making light of it, which I think is always very important. So I love seeing people kind of like doing that movement in your app, because it just looks fantastically silly. So has anyone kind of started making a dance move out of the control?
All our Cyan Planet parties look like that. Yeah.
You have to get back to a hard-hitting question. Do you have a name for that dance?
Not yet.
No, he got us there.
If you have any ideas.
The dolphin or the? Nah, I'm not quite sure. We'll workshop that later on.
How is the Water is also a nice name for a dance move. It has the right amount of syllables. How is the Water? How is the Water? How is the... Okay. However.
But yeah, we'll workshop after. Maybe Alex, maybe you have got an idea that you have to come up with within the next 3 seconds. I give you 3 seconds to come up with a good idea. 3, 2.
Yeah, like HIY, would I say? You know, like the first letters of the How is the Water. No, but then it was wrong basically. Yeah, okay, but maybe I need to write it down and then make it up. But basically, okay, coming back to a question, I think it's quite impressive, especially like a virtual reality, to set up a team these days for 20 people right now. So like, how did you manage it? And also like, is all your whole team based around you? Are you working remotely with some artists, with some that are doing just project work, or like how are your working structures inside of your team basically?
From the very beginning, we are used to work remotely, because our team, as you said, right now 20 members from 10 different countries. At one moment, we had been spread over 3 continents. So, of course, meetings or the big meetings are quite complicated, or had been, but right now it's actually quite relaxed because most of us are in Europe. A lot in Germany. We are with our development team or with developers and technical artists here in Munich. And in terms of advisory members and impact and communication team, there the work is remote, and remote by default from the very beginning of Cyan Planet. And we keep to have it like that because there is simply no other way. We can't be traveling, meeting each other. And right now, for example, development with the VR or with the meetings in VR, they are really great. You just have your avatar, and it's like you would be sitting in the same room, and you can do the things that you would do in real room.
And I think it's also actually an enrichment that we have our team members in all the different countries, because it gives us much more perspectives on different cultures, what is happening, all the diversity that we have in our team. At least we see it as a huge enrichment. So I hope it will stay like that, actually, even though I would really like to have us all in one place, but like for once, but it's great this way, definitely.
So yeah, a follow-up question for you as an expert in VR. I guess you might be quite critical when it comes to conference solutions, right? So what is like your solution that you are using in your team? Because maybe it could be quite interesting for some people who like to try it out. And then, yeah, why not starting with a solution that is proved by you, for instance?
We are also experimenting because there are new tools coming right now every month. I think in the new from HTC, I think there is a new conferencing tool for businesses and other platforms, other spaces, even a sports space. Of course, with a limited. I don't know how many I should now name, but we are experimenting and combining, of course, different platforms. I think it's not that we would be constantly sitting in VR headsets and working on Cyan Planet. I mean, standard platforms as we are now using Zoom, Discord, other Slack, and all these collaborative platforms that are out there available are the tools that we are using to work remotely.
But I think in general, if you want advice from an expert remotely working group, is really communication, and then the tool does not really matter. It's just everybody needs to know how the others are feeling with their work, because if something is not going well, we will never know because we don't see them and we just see what they produce. So that's actually the key for us in all our work. Communicate openly and just share also really how you feel and not only what you're working on.
Right, to create this alternative to coffee machine talks.
Yes.
That is, of course, now missing.
Yeah, I think Alex was kind of almost setting me up a little bit to plug our own Mozilla Hub space that we made for the Waterkant Festival, which you can access at waterkant-hub.sh, and you can actually watch the live stream live in your VR headset through Mozilla Hubs. Yeah, Mozilla, I think the sponge space, which is very hard for me to say with my lisp.
Not only for you.
I really like the name, actually.
We practice a lot.
I think that's being built within Mozilla Hubs as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah. It's a really nice tool. Open source as well, which is great.
Yeah.
I think that's another kind of quick plug of like open source software, which is a segue also to the next talk, Alex, is it not? Talking about open sourceness and open source hardware. But before we go to that, is there anything else, Michal and Ninja, that you would like to make sure for people to know about your project or what's coming next?
Well, if you really liked what we've been talking about here, then yeah, please go to our website and sign up for our pod, and we'll then let you know how we can make a dolphin out of you and how we can become a dolphin, which is the main thing that we are now living in Cyan Planet, and probably will be for next months.
www.cyanplanet.org. Visit us.